Hey guys, welcome back to Ask Snes. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Right, lovely sunny day today. Sun's out, wind's up, bloody cold, but it's really bright and sunny. And I swivel on my shower ready, good start. Right, okay, so we have got a fair few questions, got the phone ready to go, all loaded up. So let's crack on and let's just see what we got, guys. So first up, I've got a couple of questions from Mr. Jared Jared Armbruster. Thank you, Jared. First question is, what are your thoughts on the analog Super NT? Honestly, it's not something that appeals to me personally. I've got a CRT, I've got an original SNES. To me, that is the ultimate way to play retro consoles, is to play them on the CRT the way they were meant to be played. But you know, if you can't do that, I know not everybody can get CRTs or doesn't have the room for a CRT or a game room. So yeah, it's practical. If you've got the money, go for it. It's pretty cool that it runs off real hardware as well. You can actually use the cartridge and it uses the cartridge. It's not just putting the cartridge in just to get the data and dump it. So that's really cool. Yeah, pretty cool device. Not something I'd be interested in. Next question from Jared. Do you plan to buy Bayonetta 1 or 2 for the Switch? No. Simple. I played them on the Wii U. Nah, not for me. I don't like them at all. Those kind of games I find really difficult to get into. So yeah, unfortunately not. Right, what we got next? Mr. Chris Davis. Hello, Chris. First question is, now this one, I did actually see this the other day when it popped up, and I'm glad it did because it gave me a chance to think about it because this is a toughie. What are your top 5 Arnold Schwarzenegger films? Now this is really hard. I actually had to go and get a list online just to make sure I didn't miss any, just to be 100% certain of which ones I was going to pick. I mean, a few of them I knew straight away off the top of my head. So I've gone for the Arnold Schwarzenegger films, the Arnie films, that for me are the ones I've watched many times and will always go back and watch. So I was going to start 5 down to 1, but to be honest, I've forgotten what number 5 was going to be. So we'll just have to wing this now. But I know what most of them are anyway. So I'll just, yeah, hang on, let me have a think there. Oh yeah, that was it. I know what I was going to do there. Now I remember. Right, so yeah, number 5 was going to be Terminator Genesis. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Genesis. They don't like Salvation either, apparently, but I personally like both of those. I thought they were great films. But for me, I love Terminator Genesis, so I've watched it several times. It never gotten old. I didn't understand why people hated it so much. I actually thought it was a really good film. Yeah, okay, fair enough. They were planning to make a trilogy, and if you didn't know they were planning to make a trilogy, you'll watch that film and go, well, hang on a minute, there's loads of stuff here that doesn't make sense, and why aren't they answering these questions? Because it was left open ready for the next 2 films, which of course will not get made because Genesis failed, which is a bleeding shame. There you go. So that's number 5. Number 4, I'm just preparing my phone, sorry, like bloody thing just reset itself. Crap. Number 4 was going to be Predator. Great film, classic obviously, I've watched it a few times, it's always fun. Number 3, Kindergarten Cop. It's on pretty much every Christmas and it's just a brilliant film, and a film that I like because it's something that at the time you would never have thought Arnold Schwarzenegger would do, or that would actually work, and it was so good. It was really funny, but also they managed to maintain some of the gritty action of Arnie films. I love Kindergarten Cop, fantastic. So that's number 3. Number 2 is going to be True Lies. I love True Lies. I haven't actually watched it for quite a while, but it's such a good film. It's really good, a take on the Bond genre as well, on the spy genre, and I think Arnie really pulled it off well, and Jamie Lee Curtis in that film, yeah, very nice. And I never forget his name, the Asian guy, I think he's a Brummie actually, I'm pretty sure he is, Art Malik, that's it, and all, plays a villain. He's absolutely brilliant, I love him. And Tom What's His Face, another comedian, he's good and all. Yeah, so that would be number 2, and number 1 is easy, Terminator 2. Judgment Day, by far, best Arnold Schwarzenegger film, one of the greatest films ever made, and one of the best ever sci-fi films. There's nothing much to say really. If you've never seen Terminator 2, you're really missing out, and you need to, because that film is phenomenal in every way, with the story, the characters, the casting, the music, just the action set pieces, everything about that film is just fantastic, and I've watched it a million times. All right, next question from Chris. What do you think are the best 3D Mario games? Well, for me, it's going to be Mario Sunshine, because I remember getting on the GameCube and I sank so many hours into that. I was living with my mate at the time. We had a flat, and I used to sit in my bedroom with the GameCube hooked up to my CRT widescreen, This is just Kane, Mayo Sunshine. I absolutely love that game. It's fantastic. I love all the colourfulness of it, and I like the water jetpack, jetpack in it. That was just brilliant. Such a great idea. I know a lot of people want me to say Mario 64, but as much as I like the game, it's not the one that I would pick. It's not one I've really loved. I would say probably Mario Galaxy 1, because I couldn't get into Mario Galaxy 2. It got on my nerves for some reason. But I really liked the first one. I had a lot of fun with that. Played it all the way through, and it was absolutely fantastic game. And probably the other one, which is a weird choice, was going to be Mario 3D World. See, I can't decide between Land and World, because they're equally brilliant. I think, I don't know, maybe Land is probably a slightly better game. But I really liked World because you got the cat suit and everything. And yeah, the game was far too easy. There was hardly any difficulty on it at all. But I really thoroughly enjoyed that game, and I'm really hoping it gets a Switch port because I would love to buy that again. And question number 3, have you played any of the Pikmin games? Yeah, I did play, was it Pikmin 2 on GameCube? Or was it Pikmin 1? Don't know, might have been the first one. Yeah, not my thing. I didn't really understand what the hell was going on, so yeah. Sorry, my cold has gone, but I'm still coughing like a bitch and I can't stop. Right, next up is my good mate Alex, Blue Tonic 78. Always got some interesting questions. And with that, I'll just take a drink of my tea because my chest is on fire and I'm bloody coughing like a maniac. I've also noticed I've got a bit of a rock eyebrow thing going on today. I don't know what's going on there. My eyebrow keeps lifting up. Weird. There you go. Right, okay, so Alex, first question. Interesting one. Right, so, oh, piss off, bloody phone. I hate touch phones. I hate touch screens. You know, you have to come near something with your thumb and it's like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to fill this comment? Do you want this? Fuck. Grr. Hate technology. Modern technology is shit. Anyway, the Mandela effect. You are or were more accepting of this than me when we discussed it recently. So me and Alex had a conversation on Twitter a couple of weeks back, and the topic of the Mandela effect came up when I mentioned it to him. What are your opinions of it? And oh, for God's sake, man, it's because what it is, the bleeding screen keeps greying out, and every time I touch it, it thinks I'm trying to reply to the comment. So just bear with me 1 second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the settings, and I'll change this piece of shit phone and stop it timing out because it's getting on my tits. I hate this phone. This phone's crap. Never buy a Galaxy J5. They're absolutely bollocks. Right, where is it? There it is, timeout every 30 seconds, no bloody wonder. Right, we'll make that 10 minutes, there we go. Right, sorry about that. Okay, so try again. Right, so Alex says, Mandela effect, you are or were more accepting of this than me when we discussed it recently. What are your opinions of it? And when we were talking about it the other day, had you had a few beers? No, I was just trying to wind you up a little bit, that's all, and a bit of fun. Yeah, so guys, if you don't know what the Mandela effect is, basically I wasn't aware of it. And then I started getting loads of videos being recommended by YouTube, and I was like, I've got to have a look at this and find out what it was. But I actually didn't look at it until I watched an episode of The X-Files that was on a few weeks ago, where they took the piss out of the Mandela effect with great effect, and it was really funny. So if you don't know, the Mandela effect, from what I understand, is basically misremembering. There's a lot of people out there apparently that have memories of events that differ from the mainstream from all of us. So it's named the Mandela effect after Nelson Mandela because there are a lot of people out there who believe they have a memory, or pretty certain they have a memory, that Nelson Mandela died in captivity and they saw his state funeral on TV, when in reality he died a free man after being president of South Africa. Now apparently there are a lot more, and if you go on YouTube there's shit tons of Mandela effect videos, people who claim that their husband isn't their husband, their kids aren't their kids, and all kinds of things. Now a lot of this comes down to, they reckon it's down to the multiverse and the universe is colliding and causing this effect, which is what I said to Alex at the time. I believe that I've always felt that deja vu is probably because of the multiverse and that's what's causing it. You know, I mean, if the multiverse even exists, which is possible because anything's possible, we don't know the truth. And then also there is time travel as well. There are a lot of people coming out claiming to be time travelers these days. Yes, most of them are nutters, we know that. But, you know, there's a lot of it. I mean, they're all coming forward. There's a channel called Apex TV. Get down that rabbit hole and watch that, it's fascinating. I was watching a shitload of that lately, it's brilliant. Yeah, so there's all these people claiming to be time travellers. They've gone like 50 to 100 years in the future, and they've gone 10 years in the future, and they've come out with photographs and technology and all this other crap. But if there are real time travellers, because I think it was even Einstein said that theoretically time travel is possible we just obviously can't do. We don't have the technology, we're not that advanced yet, but it is actually possible when we get to that level. So say the American government or the British government at some point in the past, apparently it happened a lot in the 80s according to Apex TV's interviews. The 1980s seems to have been a big thing for the Americans, the Russians and the British. We all sent people into the future. So there you go. Fascinating stuff. But yeah, I reckon that basically time travel seems to be another issue with Mandela effect, in that obviously the butterfly effect, if you change something in the past, it has an effect on the future. And that's probably what's happening, is they're changing things in the past, which then changes our current timeline right now. And then all of us, our brains automatically take on the history that's been changed. So we remember Nelson Mandela being a free man and dying as a free man and a president, whereas the other people who are experiencing Mandela dying as a captive man are the ones that are actually accurate, because that's what really happened, but the timeline changed, and for some reason they weren't changed along with the rest of us. Who knows? Anything's possible. We don't know the truth. You know, it's just like death. No one knows. So yes, I was taking the piss a bit, Alex, but and I'm sure you knew that. But I thought it'd be a bit of fun as well. I like to go down the rabbit hole on YouTube and watch this random shit sometimes, because you never know what you're going to learn. Question number 2 from Alex. It's taken me a while to watch them, but other than The Last Jedi, I'm now caught up with the new Star Wars movies. Personally, I really like The Force Awakens and Rogue One, but The Last Jedi is being hammered right, left and centre on social media. What did you make of the movie? I think I have spoken about this before, Alex, so I don't know if you noticed that, or you've forgotten. There you go. Yeah, Last Jedi, I actually really enjoyed the film. It is not as good as Force Awakens and Rogue One in my opinion. I prefer those two films, but I overall probably enjoyed the film. It's a bit of a strange one. I felt it was a bit slow to get going. I felt the comedy at the beginning didn't work for me at all, just didn't hit. I really love the Porgs, which you'll find out when you see the film. They're absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I thought Luke Skywalker wasn't really used as well as he probably should have been used. Maz Kanata was sort of shoehorned in for no bloody reason, as was Yoda. Didn't really understand the point of that. Even that's not a spoiler. It's just Yoda, isn't it? The casino planet was absolutely brilliant. So I think I'll be interested to hear your opinion on it, because I've seen your views on both Force Awakens and Rogue One, and it's going to be interesting to see what you think of Last Jedi. I wouldn't take any notice of all the bullshit online. Everyone's just slating it, because as you know, with the internet, when people are completely one way or the other, absolutely love the hell out of something or absolutely shit on it, it's usually bollocks, isn't it? You know, all of us in the middle can make a better decision. But yeah, I enjoyed the film anyway. What have we got here? Okay. Okay, so we've got a question from Skyner1. Thank you, mate. Although you prefer Super Nintendo to Mega Drive, what 3 or 4 games would you say the Mega Drive version far outshines the Super Nintendo version? Honestly, mate, that's going to be a tough one, because I haven't played enough Mega Drive games, so I can't just bullshit my way through this one. The only one that I would say off the top of my head is Aladdin, as I said before. I like both versions. Super Nintendo game's great, but Mega Drive just owns that game. It's just absolutely fantastic. From the animation from Disney to the actual just gameplay using the weapon and the level design and the music, and it just, for me, it's far superior to the Super Nintendo game. But the Super Nintendo game is absolutely brilliant. One I want to compare is Chaos Engine, but I can't get a copy of the Mega Drive one yet because it's a bit pricey, so you know, when I do, I'd like to compare those two. But yeah, that's the only one I can really talk about at the moment. Nat Kennedy Breeze got a few questions. So Nat asks, what or when was the last full, I assume that means pay-per-view, WWE or any other wrestling promotion event you watched? Well, last time I watched wrestling, mate, was when it was WWF. So it's been a long time. I don't remember the last event. It would have probably been like a Royal Rumble or a WrestleMania back in like 80s, 90s. It would have been 80s, not 90s, wouldn't it? Yeah. Back in, I really don't remember. Was it the 80s or 90s when I watched it? It was on Sky, because that's where they used to be able to get them back then. You couldn't get them on normal TV. But I remember staying up late the one year watching the Royal Rumble. I don't know what year it was. I remember, I've got a memory of like Hogan coming in and getting his arse handed to him. And then he just does his usual thing. He jumps up and pulls his shirt off and then just grabs them all and just throws them out the ring. I loved Hogan. Hogan was brilliant, man. He was my absolute favourite. I was a Hulkamaniac when I was a kid. Yeah, so I haven't watched him for about 30 odd years, but yeah, very cool. What do you make of some billionaires thinking that having a high quality art collection, interesting question, is a necessity to life, and having 100 million is the starting point of having real money. Do what you want to do, you know. If that makes them happy, that makes them happy. The 100 million starting point of having real money seems a bit insane, you know. £1 million, dollars, euros to the majority of people is a shit ton of money, and that would set us up for life. I suppose when you earn that kind of money, you get to a point where you just, I don't know, I suppose it's never enough, is it really? These people always amaze me, like celebrities and that, they get so many millions. Film stars, they can get like 10 million for making a film, and it just shows that it's not about the money for them, it's all about the art. Right, sorry guys, phone went off, bloody thing. Right, anyway, yeah, so I think I answered that question anyway. So next up, third question is, have you ever enjoyed a fantasy film that had no sci-fi elements? Not that I can think of. I think most fantasy films that I've watched or tried to watch have been sci-fi, so I'd have to say no on that one. Do you think scientists study the wrong things sometimes? Like trying to make unhealthy things healthy, like trying to add health to Coke as a hypothetical. Other things could have been done, like curing type 2 diabetes. I honestly, mate, I don't know enough about this, so I can't really comment on it. But yeah, I mean, realistically, they should be focusing on what's important. You know, curing diseases, obviously. What do you make of sex dolls? Can the concept go too far? Some of the new ones, yeah, they're creepy as shit, man. I don't understand what that's about. I mean, I don't understand people who want them, you know. I don't understand, because there's no way that you can't find a woman. I know it's always easier for women to find men than it is for men to find women. I've always believed that. You know, no matter what a woman looks like, no matter how big she is, how small she is, whatever it is, a woman can get a man to go with her, because men are fickle like that. But the opposite way around, it can be quite difficult for a man to get a woman interested. You know, you have to really make an effort, because they don't. Unless you're like a super attractive man, then of course the women will come flocking, but generally they don't, and you have to go out your way, which makes it very difficult for men to find a partner. I understand that. So I can understand maybe some people, they just think, I'll sod it, I'll buy a doll. But I mean, nah, you might as well just give up then, ain't you? Your life's over if you've got to buy one of them. And then bleeding cheap, you want to get prostitute, it's got to be cheaper. I don't know. Anyway, that's a great question, mate. Right, what we got next? We've got Sega sent me one. So, Mark, thank you very much, mate. First question, ever thought about collecting original Game Boy games and playing them through the Super Game Boy adapter, or is it not your thing? Not my thing. I'm not really a handheld guy, as I've said in the past. I don't mind them, and yeah, alright, playing them on a TV with the Super Game Boy is badass, or if you've got the Game Boy Advance player for the GameCube, is absolutely brilliant, but it's just not for me. I just don't know, what it is. Nah, I'm happy with the console games. Ever do anything shifty to gain advantage in getting a video game? Jump a queue, telling the fib, making out you had a pre-order and blaming the store saying they lost it on the system, when in reality you knew all wrong, you didn't pre-order it. Something like that? No. Sure. Sorry mate, short and sweet, no. Top 3 retro games you're hunting for now, and or at least keeping an eye on. Ooh, mostly Amiga stuff at the moment. I'm really, keeping my eye out. I want First Samurai. One came up yesterday, but it was just, I thought it was too expensive. I mean, I know why it's expensive, because another one sold recently for around £5 less than what this one's gone up for. So it's one of those bloody retro situations where the game normally sells cheap, but someone managed to sell one for double the price of what it normally sells, and now there's one up for sale for a bit more. So I'm going to wait on that game. What else do I want at the moment? I was trying to think of the really important ones I want to get. I mean, obviously, Super Nintendo wise, I want Mega Turrican, Super Turrican even, and Super Turrican 2, but yeah, that's a long way off. There's nothing, honestly, there's hardly anything getting listed on Super Nintendo at the moment. It's just the same old stuff that I've already got. So it's kind of good in a way, because they're expensive and it means I ain't going to spend the money, but I can focus on the Amiga. But it's a real shame. But yeah, those are the ones I'm really looking out for at the moment. Eventually I'll get those Turrican games. Right, okay, Adam, 16-bit Brit. Hello, mate. Good to hear from you. So Adam asks, you've spoken in the past about how you're not really a fan of handheld gaming, as I've just said. Has the Switch altered your opinion, and if so, why? You know what, mate, it's funny. Every time I watch a video and people talk about the Switch, they always talk about, oh, I've never put it on the TV. I always have it as a handheld. For me, it's the complete opposite. I only play it on the TV. The only time I've actually found that it was really cool to use it as a handheld, and it was a massive advantage, and it actually showed me the advantage of having the Switch, was a couple of weeks ago. I was sitting in the house and the electric went off. We had a power cut, and it was there for about 4 or 5 hours, which was quite frustrating, obviously. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? I literally cannot do anything. I can't do the housework because I can't put the washing machine or the dryer on. I can't use the dishwasher. I can't make a cup of tea. I'm like, shit, but I can't play games. I can't watch telly. And I thought, the switch is fully charged. So I took the switch out of the dock and played some Street Fighter. Absolutely brilliant. It was so good. And the screen, the clarity on that screen, it's only 720p, but it looks really, really nice. Street Fighter looks fantastic on it. And I played a couple of other things as well like that. I've got a demo of Puyo Puyo Tetris, which I really like, been playing that. And I got a platform action game, which I can't bloody remember, in like an 8-bit style, which was really cool. So yeah, I don't really use it in that way. I still use it in a traditional console. I'm still in that mindset. But after using it that one day, I actually was really impressed with how good the Switch is as a portable system. So you never know, I might use it more in the future. See, because to me, I don't take it to bed, there's no point. I want to go to bed and sleep, and if you've got screens in bed, you just don't get sleep and it messes with your head, like your sleep patterns. Right, Nate Gate 321, not heard from Nate in ages. Hello, Nate. Are you still collecting music? Yes, I am. Either vinyl or CDs, mostly vinyl. What music are you listening to these days, and any new bands or some classics? Honestly, I'm still mostly, well, recently it's been a bit of a weird one, but mostly I'm listening to country music. Like country rock and pop is the big thing for me. It has been for the last couple of years, with a couple of other things sprinkled in. So recently, Carly Pearce, who's a new artist, she's had a debut album come out, which called Every Little Thing, which is absolutely brilliant. I've been playing that in the car, back to back. Love that album, it's fantastic. I got the Tim McGraw and Faith Hill album for Christmas on vinyl, which is bloody brilliant. Love that. If you like Tim McGraw, great album to check out, that one. And also the other thing I've really been listening to more than anything is the soundtrack to The Greatest Showman, because it is just a ridiculously, phenomenally brilliant film. I absolutely love that film, and the soundtrack is just so good. And I've just had it on in the car. I had it on for about 4 weeks solid, and I eventually went, I've got to turn this off and play something different. Yeah, but in terms of buying records, I haven't actually bought any for a while, and there's quite a few that I've seen come up that I want to get. I still want to get Noel Gallagher's latest album. I want to get Little Mix's album. I want to get Paloma Faith's album. There was a couple of others I can't think of off the top of my head. I really want to get Kane Brown, who's a country artist. I'm really pissed off about this. He's got an album out, right, and there's a song he did called Heaven, which I absolutely love. It's my favourite country song at the moment. But the problem is, it's only on the CD. The vinyl doesn't have Heaven. So I'm in a dilemma. Do I buy both, or do I just buy the CD and listen to it in the car? Because most country music seems to get released on CD. It's only occasionally you get an artist will release a vinyl, which is bloody irritating, to be quite honest with you. Tim McGraw's quite good at releasing vinyls. But yeah, I really want the Kane Brown album, but I don't know. I might end up just saying bollocks to it and buying both because I'm like that, and then just get the CD so I can listen to it in the car and have the extra track, and just have the vinyl for the house. But you know, I don't get Heaven, which is a real shame. Other than that, I've just been going back, listening to some older records. Like I've been listening to Britney Spears' Femme Fatale quite a lot in the car. Love that album, it's one of my favourites. What else have I got? Yeah, and in the car at the moment I've got Britney Spears' Femme Fatale, Tupac's Greatest Hits, I got The Greatest Showman soundtrack, Bob Marley's Legend, and Michael Bublé's Christmas album, because I still haven't bought it back in the house. So yeah, I'm all over the shop at the moment. I like that. That's a good question. Oh, and for anyone who might at all be interested, I do film reviews as well. And what's going on there? Ah, the screen's just gone dark. I don't know. Probably the battery. No, I'm bleeding up. Yeah, so I do film reviews. I have a second channel called Peter Jones Movie Reviews, if anyone's interested. There may be a card there. If not, there's a link down in the description. So check it out, guys, if it's something you're into. And I have done a review of The Greatest Showman in my first video. And yeah, I love that film, so it's a very positive review. Right. Big King Bacon asked, did I collect stickers or cards as a kid? The only thing I remember collecting really was the Garbage Pail Kid cards with the gum. I used to love the Garbage Pail Kids, they were absolutely fantastic, but I was never really into like the Panini football and all that sort of stuff. It also asks, your perfect game that you could design and produce, etc., what would it be like? I've had a few ideas in the past couple of years that have been floating around in my head, whether to write them as books, make them into a script, or make them into video games. But I'm not too sure. I've got one that's like a spy one, which I thought would be really cool, the third-person shooter. Because I really want a good cover shooter. I haven't played a good one in ages. And obviously there's the Uncharted games, but I want something different. In a more modern setting, like a spy genre, as I say, that'd be really cool. I'd like to see that. Otherwise, you could do, I've got an idea of like a character waking up, and then as they get up, there's planes flying over their head and bombs going off and buildings exploding, people getting shot, and they're looking around not knowing what's going on, they're confused, and they look down, there's their dead body on the floor. And that could be like a Quantic Dream game. I thought it'd be really cool. So yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. Right, just bear with me 1 second. I'm going to get my charger because I think this bloody phone's going to cut out. Hang on. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So yeah, just put my charger on. I was going to do that when I first started the video and totally forgot. So there you go. Right, yeah. So where are we? Still Big King Bacon's questions. Any games rental memories? There used to be a bloke come around in his car and open up his boot and rent games as well. No, I never did, mate. I used to just pirate everything. So. Random question, what was your favourite meal as a child and what is it now? Probably French bread pizza when I was a kid. I used to eat a lot of French bread pizza. I don't see them now, I don't know what happened to them, but I'm sure they probably do still make them. But yeah, now I just eat a lot of shit, so I don't really have a favourite meal at the moment. I mean, I like curries, obviously, they're always good. And yeah, my diet's terrible. I really need to change everything. I've even considered being vegan at one point because I just want to have a completely new lifestyle and be healthier, get this weight off me and just, you know, eat properly. But yeah, there you go. Cheers Johnny Retro and all for subscribing to the movie channel. Good on you, mate. Is that a question? Yeah, okay. So Dylan Craven's got a couple of questions. Thank you, Dylan. Always good. So let's have a look. Right, your love of 16-bit games is well known. Being that generation, Jesus Christ, that's a mouthful. Being that generation was mainly 2D games, why no love for the 32-bit era, considering 2D games were, in my honest opinion, perfected during that generation? Come on, show your love for the PlayStation and Saturn, you know, it makes sense. I love the PlayStation, mate. PS1's a fantastic console, but I'll be honest with you, as a collectible, it's never really been a thing that's worked for me. I've tried many times, but I just don't really have any interest in collecting for it, which is so weird because I have so much nostalgia. I absolutely loved that machine at the time. And I've said a few times in the past, and I think I mentioned in the video, I used to have CD racks across my bedroom wall, 2 big ones, and they were completely rammed full of pirate PS1 games. I was loving the PS1 back then. But as an adult, I think it's the CD media as well. I just like to play the 16-bit systems. They're really what I enjoy the most. I've played every system now. Even the ones I never had as a kid, I've managed to own them and play them. And really it always comes back to the Super Nintendo, Mega Drive and Amiga. Those are the ones I enjoy the most. So yeah, so it's, you know, nothing against the Saturn and the PS1. Saturn's a decent system, doesn't really mean a lot to me. PS1 I absolutely love, but I've just got no interest in collecting for it. So I just put a comment, that's brilliant, that is. Right, I ain't going to deafen you when I cough. I'm going to cough. Oh, got questions from Lloyd, Twit the Shred. Hello Lloyd, well done mate. First question, over the last 12 months, how many YouTube minutes do you have watched? This will put in perspective for what smaller channels have to work towards. Off the top of my head, mate, I have no idea. I did look when that email came out, and I would actually, interestingly enough, Lloyd made a video about the whole situation with YouTube, and I watched his video, and I didn't realise, was it Lloyd? I think it was Lloyd that corrected me. I think that was that I got it confused on the actual analytics when it says it's hours watched. You had to have, was it 4,000? I think you had to have 4,000 hours. That don't sound right, is it? Or 400 hours, whatever the bloody number is anyway. And I got 32,000 something minutes. It worked out about, was it, how many hours gone? Was it 4 hours or? No, can't be 4 hours, that matters. It's got to be 400 hours in it. You know, I've got to check that now because I really don't remember. I have to check. At the top of my head, mate, I actually can't remember. I know I had a lot, and I was really surprised at how many watched minutes translated into hours actually were. What I'll do is I'll check my analytics when I edit this video, and I'll stick it on the screen and you'll see what my situation is. Have you ever considered learning an instrument? If so, what and why are you holding back? I did try and learn the guitar. I had a friend called Clyde who's an absolutely phenomenal guitar player. He tried to teach me, but I just couldn't get it. I haven't got the patience here. You have to put a shitload of work in, as you know, because you're a guitarist yourself. and I just don't have the patience to sit there and practice daily, unfortunately. It would have been cool though. Name a video you most enjoyed making on your channel and why. Oh shit, that's a hard one. Honestly, I've got nearly 1,100 videos on my channel. Trying to pick one that, oh, bloody hell, that's hard. I most enjoyed making. Honestly, I've got no idea. Most of the package videos I used to do in the early days, I used to love making those. There was a real energy behind those because there's a real community feel at the time. And just, you know, I'd love when a new game would come in a box and I'd get a package or two and I'd just run upstairs and, you know, get the camera ready, make a video, I'd be really enthusiastic, and, you know, people used to love those as well, watching me open them up. You know, it's always, I used to enjoy watching them myself when people did those videos. Package videos were great because the suspense of not knowing what's in the box. So those would I'd probably say those were my favourite videos. I can't really pick one particular video without going back and looking at everything I've done. And household chore you hate doing the most, or hate doing. There isn't anything, I'll be honest with you, mate, there isn't. I mean, I don't know, we all think it's a bit of a pain in the arse, but I actually kind of like cleaning. I'm a bit of a clean freak in that respect. I'm very neat and tidy, as you can probably tell from the room. I like to have everything where it needs to be. It has to have its own place. And I like to dust and clean and vacuum and do all the bits and bobs in it. I find it kind of therapeutic. Just put the music on loud and just, you know, get on with the job and get it done. And it feels good when it's all done as well, to look around and have a nice clean house. But yeah, so I'm a bit weird like that. And that is actually the last question. So thank you very much, Lloyd. I really appreciate that, mate. So there you go, guys. That is another episode of Ask Snes done and dusted. Some really interesting questions. Another load of great guys leaving them for me. Thank you very much. If, of course, you do have any questions for me about anything at all, whatever's on your mind, doesn't have to be gaming, as I say, you can be absolutely any topic, and I will do my best to answer it in the next video. So just leave it down in the comments below this one, and then come back for the next video, and you'll hopefully see your response, if I can give you one. So thanks for watching, guys. Please give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Really appreciate it. And if you want to see more videos, just click the old subscribe button, ring the bell for a notification. I think everybody knows about that nowadays. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode of Ask Snes.